some of the points I thought they are very important, particularly for the North Yorkshire. They were related to the importance of the removal of the direct payments, because we know that the North Yorkshire area is the farm structure in the North Yorkshire area is very much dominated by grazing livestock. We know, some of my research I've done on Brexit and agriculture showed that under different trade scenarios, like a free trade agreement or unilateral trade agreement, or falling back to the WTO rules, it showed that with the removal of the direct payments, most of these farmers actually will be very, very much affected, and that is because they are very much dependent on the direct payments. However, this can be somehow offset if farmers may be trying to think and change their mind and moving, if you like, from subsidies, how can we actually become more competitive, and probably looking for different business models, but also trying, to maybe diversify. Of course, it's not as simple as such, because it depends very much on the farm and the farmer characteristics. So not everybody can actually, diversify and transform overnight into a very profitable businesses. But I think there are opportunities with Brexit, and farmers can look forward to different maybe type of support, as pointed out under the environmental land management schemes. We don't really know how exactly this will really happen, because we don't have any details about how the scheme will really actually work. But this idea of rewarding farmers for the delivery of public goods may be attractive, at least for some farmers. But the other key challenges which I saw that are important, they were actually a greater integration of the farming industry within the supply chain. I do think that farmers should actually start working together with other actors across the supply chain. They also may like to think, how to become more market-oriented, how to actually regain consumer trust and build that relationship, with what actually consumer wants. And the other key challenges I mentioned today to the Commission was related to the aging of farming population, particular characteristic to the North Yorkshire, but also to other areas within the UK who are within the less favoured areas. There are some measures, as for example, the government may think, to accelerate the retirement, by providing farmers with a payoff. But also, I think the government should think how can support, young farmers, how can actually, they can attract young farmers and retain young farmers within rural areas. I think. I do believe in farmers. They are very resilient, and in this country, they prove they are resilient. And even if they are up in the uplands, they are there in the uplands, they can actually think about how to adjust, adapt, and also innovate. Probably they should think about how can we actually become more market-oriented, and how can we actually link farming to with other actors within the supply chains, particular with the consumers. And probably they should look for some business models which will suit them best.